Well, I'm joined now by the Sunday Herald journalist Paul Hutchin and by the writer and journalist Katie Grant. Let's start with these. I think we've got some pictures of them of this big demonstration that was on. Do we have pictures of that? Yes, there we are. It was very large.
Yeah, I think it was fairly well attended. It does speak to, I think, a growing frustration in some parts of the Yes movement that Nicola Sturgeon is not providing clarity on her constitutional plans, particularly independence. I think that the people on the march would probably want a second referendum within about 18 months. But I'd make the wider point that while tens of thousands of people attended that rally yesterday, millions of people didn't. And I don't think people should be fooled about the power of marches and rallies. I do think that...
OK, point taken, but Katie, if it was 35, 40,000 people, perhaps even more, the organisers claim, that's, I mean, you know, obviously that's not millions of people, but it's difficult to get numbers like that in a march. You don't see it that often.
Well, you don't, but then it's quite a sort of localised march, so, and Glasgow is very...
Well, no, I think there were people coming from...
Well, but I mean, they're all in one place, is what I'm saying. So there they all are, and they're in Glasgow for the day, and I think some people had viewed it as a bit of a holiday. So, I think the numbers given by the SNP were rather exaggerated.
Well, it wasn't the SNP, it was the organisers.
Sorry, the organisers, the organisers, you know, who said about 80,000. Well, I don't think there were anything like 80,000 people there. Yeah, at least that was a number that I read.
40 is still quite a lot.
I think the interesting thing, more interesting, is that they look like a body when they're there of people who all want the same thing. But of course, I think they're not really all wanting the same thing. In amongst that whole group of people, that whole demonstration, there will be Leavers and Remainers over the Brexit thing. Not all SNP members or voters are Leavers or Remainers. They're divided like everybody else. So it looks like a sort of body which wants one thing. But if they ever got that thing, then what would happen? OK, but there is something else, and you kind of alluded to it, Paul, that a few years ago, if you had a demonstration like that in Glasgow for independence, the SNP leadership would think, oh, this is absolutely fantastic. It's not quite so clear now. In a way, it's almost a threat to them, because there does seem to be this feeling among a lot of Yes supporters that they're not getting what they want, and that it's the SNP that is holding it up. Yeah,
there's always a big distinction to be drawn between the SNP and the wider Yes movement. The wider Yes movement exists for one goal and one goal only, that's independence. Whereas, of course, the SNP is in government, it's got its own programme of change. And I think there are also differences of opinion on what the top priority just now is for the SNP in terms of the Constitution. So I do see fractures emerging. I think there are differences of opinion, and I think that march yesterday, which was fairly well attended, is a sign of those divisions.